Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 221 of the last Thoughts of a Busy Mind. This one titled Memoirs of the War Part 7. Now I have to be completely honest with you guys that I know technically speaking war might be over, and though it is incredibly murky because there is a blockade, both sides are constantly aggravating each other, and yeah, so maybe calling it Memoirs of the Ceasefire might be a better one, but it is still a continuation of the war, and the internet isn't connected yet. So this will happen until I can access the internet and share these with you if that ever happens. Things have not been looking well. There have been some murmurs and some words from people in the government that seems like we are going to go on with this tiered internet system for a while at least. So yeah, this one is recorded a week after the last one. My drink today is water, just some regular water. Yeah. Great. I just had an ice cream before I started recording. So yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why. I'm not sorry about that. So yeah, things aren't that good. In terms of the world, as I said, there is a chance this tiered system of internet is what we are gonna have for quite a substantial time, which is not ideal, and it's in fact incredibly harrowing. And on the other hand, I have completely sort of stopped reading news so obsessively, even though I know I am in the middle of the news right now. But I just can't do it. We're stuck with between two bloodthirsty ghouls and little aggravators around us, and so I genuinely can't. I can't read this shit anymore. I can't let it consume me because it's so dumb. Like every week on the weekend, Trump says some bullshit things and just tries to rile them up, and then they say some bullshit things to try to rile them up, and my brain just can't take it anymore. Genuinely, I just can't take it. And in the middle of all of that, you have to contend with Israel being the, Bibi Netanyahu being the bloodthirsty, fascistic child killer that he is, and the monarchists being absolute idiots who are just unwilling to admit that they've been duped. So yeah, between all of this, I just can't do it. I just can't. So yeah, I have stopped reading the news so obsessively. If something is big, I will check it out. But at this point, I just don't wake up and search for Iran news. I'm doing other stuff. I have recently done a bunch of my grandmother's old cabinets. They had this lock system. I've changed them to these rolling, I don't know what you call them. They're these old rolling things that you don't need a key to lock the door. You just open and close them as you do. Let me just search for them. Rolling. I want you to appreciate the fact that I'm using my very hard-earned VPN to search what are they. Rolling door. No, rolling cabinet. No, cabinet door. Closing system. And it is incredibly slow, so um it might take a while. But yeah, I have searched it now. So yeah. Anyways, there is that. And I have been doing some other stuff as well. I recently bought, as I think I said that before, I bought the Thursday Murder Club books. I read the first one, loved it. So I read the second one and have started the third one. Second one wasn't as good as the first one because the first one was, even though it was a comedy and it was, by all intents and purposes, a good comedy, was also much darker and had a, more dark sense of humor in it. The second one felt a little bit goofy, I'm not gonna, I'm not going to, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I was looking for the word spoil. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it does deal with more fantastical things that I don't think was as good as the first book. Still pretty good. Still have the wit that I really enjoyed in the first book. The third one is going slower, but I think it's because I'm kind of burnt out. And my movie that I has started making is halfway done. Most of the scenes are done. I went and got a beard trim. I look completely different, so I have filmed a bunch more scenes, and they weren't easy, but they weren't too hard. Genuinely, it's just more hard work to be done. And yeah, and in between all of these, I wrote a short story. I don't know if I talked about it last week or not. Genuinely, it's just hard for me to know what time it is and what I've done. So if I've talked about it before, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about it again. If I haven't, well, I have written a short story. Let me see if I can find out when exactly. Oh, no, there's no way I talked about this last week. So yeah, I wrote a short story. Now, I know I fashioned myself a writer. When you look in my profile on social media, my biography always reads writer, director, occasional actor, because that's what I am. I am a writer, I'm a director, and I'm an occasional actor. I also do other shit, but these are the main three. And I know for a writer, being able to write a short story is nothing big. It's actually quite shameful. I should be ashamed of myself. Believe me, I am. I wouldn't have brought it up if I wasn't. I am incredibly ashamed that the fact that I wrote a 4-page long short story is one of the highlights to me. And I hate that. I genuinely hate that. And it makes me feel bad about myself. I wish it didn't, but it does. So yeah. But anyways, beside that, I wrote a short story. It's been so long since I've done that. I just sat down and started writing, and I knocked the whole thing out in a few hours. The story came to me like fully formed. I knew what to write. I knew how to write it. And it's been so long since I've done that. And it made me feel good and bad. At the same time, I know the reason I'm not writing more is because I don't see writing as my job. Now, I know I say I'm a writer, but I mean that I don't give it the proper respect it deserves as a job. I don't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write. I'm going to spend time, probably a few solid hours in consecutive hours, just focused on this story instead of doing a million other things in the meantime. The fact that the internet is shut off is actually kind of a blessing in disguise in this matter, because I can just not get distracted by all of the little notifications and all of that. So probably I need to do that more. At the same time, I don't want to force it out, because the fact that this story came out is because it was about my experience in the war. It's not super great. It's just something relatable. If you've lived through this specific war the way I have, and I hope probably someday people can read it. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I've lost all hope for anything called the future. So I'm not gonna dwell on that very much. But yeah. So the thing is that I wanted to say was that as I was writing it, it just felt good to be able to write like this, and I wanted to keep it like that. I didn't want it to become like a chore, like I'm forcing myself to write these books that maybe I don't end up loving them as much. I just wanted it to be, I just wanted to feel good. And it did. It felt really good. Just writing is so good, guys. If you haven't done it, highly recommend it. But yeah, I should probably treat this as a job, because it is. I have to sit down and deal with the subject matter for a few hours, not get distracted by everything else, and do that. The same thing has to happen when I'm writing scripts for videos or movie scripts or working on a movie. Problem is, life has become so complicated. Life has become so massively out of my control that the fact that I have to sit down and write something feels like I am losing time on other things. And the war has just made that worse. Like, before the war, I was trying to get a handle on things. Hard, I understand. Impossible, probably. But I was trying. Right now, the trying seems impossible. It seems pointless. Just trying to get a grip on things. It's like, why? It's hopeless. When the war started, we were fucked. By we, I mean the normal Iranian people. There is no good outcome of this for us. No matter how much the monarchists want to shout that this needed to happen, it didn't need to happen, and the fact that it didn't make anything better. Anything. So yeah, there is that. And because of the movie, because of the scene we shot, I had to put a scene from one of my favorite shows, Hezar Dastan, on the TV. And my grandmother was watching that episode 9. And so we started watching Hezar Dastan from the beginning. It's 15 episodes, not too long. And as I'm watching it, I have an idea for a video that maybe one day I will make. But yeah, I wanted to be about Hezar Dastan. It was like a massive video, like 8 hours or something. I don't learn, do I? That I shouldn't make long ass videos about subjects nobody cares about. I just make them. One of my friends, who has been actually on The Last Us of Too Busy Mind twice, Kamyab, once told me that I'm his favorite YouTuber, and that compliment alone has been driving me for so long, and I think I'm about to crash. I've had ideas for videos. Genuinely, I thought that by now, in 2026, I would have had at least one video out, but then that things in January happened, and then the war happened, and to be honest, being 29 so far hasn't been great. And the other night we also had a spontaneous movie night. I just clicked on Yeha Berand, or I don't know, a sugar cube is the English translation, I guess. It's a movie by Reza Karimi, and we just started watching it. I liked it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time in Iranian cinema, and so I fucking loved it, and it was just fun, and it made me want to do a play in that style about a funeral, and just use everything that I saw in my two grandfathers. Both of my grandfathers have died. Both of them have died after I've they didn't die so when I was so young that I don't remember them. I remember them very vividly. I remember my paternal grandfather, which I think I talked about it before, the baker, who went to the hospital by his own admission. Like he went there saying, I have this heart problem, and then died in there. And I remember my maternal grandfather, who got a stroke in Canada and just slowly withered away until he basically said, if I go home, these were literally his last words that I heard from him. It wasn't to me, it was to his brother. It's like, if I go home to Happy's, I'm not coming back out of it. He just knew, and he passed away. And the funerals for both of them were like full of events, and I think I need to just use that in a story. I know that makes me sound incredibly cold-hearted, but I didn't mean it like that. I just mean that the funerals around these two people, it just there are a lot of weird people in my family. That's what I'm trying to say. And if Reza Mikami can capitalize on his memories, why can't I? And while I was talking to you, the Google search came back, and it didn't understand what I was asking. Okay. The Iranian name is Chefte Lolai, Chefte Qalteki. Let me search for that. Chefte Qalteki. That's one of the boons or problems. It's not a problem. I'm not going to call it a problem, but it's one of the quirks of being bilingual, is that you know one thing, what one thing is called in like Persian, but you don't know what it's called in English, or vice versa. I've had that problem forever. One of the reasons I'm not a good writer. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself, considering, again, everything. The fact that my birthday started with the fucking war, but I don't know why. I don't know what's happening. I'm just so tired. Okay. It's double roller catch. That's what it's called. I should have known. It's a double roller catch. It's all of the old cabinets in Iran has them, and they're surprisingly good. Like, okay, my grandma's cabinets are made at least 30 years ago. I'm saying at least because I remember them, and they were probably there a long time before me, but I'm not sure. So at least 30 years old, because I am 29, and they're quite old, and a couple of them have these double roller catches in them, and they're still working. They're still working great, much better than the magnetic ones where you push and it pulls the thing out. Those are shit. Those are really bad. Don't use them in your cabinet making. They just really are bad. So, but the double roller catch one's surprisingly good. And yeah. By the way, I think I've said this before, but if everything goes according to, if the war doesn't start next week, Monday, we'll be returning to Tehran. We are going to leave Tabriz. I feel a little bit sad about it, but I'll talk about it more next week, because next week I will be still in Tabriz. So let's see how it goes. And yeah. I will be returning to Tehran and see if life can happen where no life is allowed to happen. I'm scared and sad and excited. Let's see what will happen, right? See you all next week.